Testimony continued today in the most notorious criminal trial in Richland County. Dr. John Boyle is accused of killing his wife Maureen and burying her body.
The 12-year-old son finally took the stand.
Boy confidently told the jury it was his decision to testify against his father.
I heard a scream. I heard a thud. It was about this loud.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
I decided at an early age that our trauma should not be what defines us. It's what we choose to do with it that does. I'm here to share my unique perspective on true crime, mental health, society, and popular culture, and always with a slight sense of humor. I'm Collier Landry, and welcome to my show.
Mover Nation, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Happy live on a Wednesday. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening or watching, thanks for making me a part of your day. Here we are. I got a hat on today because we're having some hair issues. It's very warm and it's very humid here in Southern California. And there are some of you in the audience that know that I am a fan of warm weather and talk about how much of a fan of warm weather I am. But it's hot. It's hot in here, especially. Up here in my little studio office, I'm on the second floor, and it's warm. So Cat Loves Catskills, who's on here, who always is kvetching about the warm weather. Today I'm doing the same thing. It's not too bad, but it was beautiful outside. It's warm inside. I don't try to run the air conditioner ever because it's just kind of a blight on society, in my opinion. I live close enough to the ocean. I should have more breeze, but today is it's calm breezes. Very warm, and as somebody told me last night, it's what they call earthquake weather. A little scary. Anyways, Mover Nation, thank you so much for being here. All right, so a couple housekeeping things before we get into it. You blame my Irish heritage if it's frizzy. Yeah, it's just it's just doing its own thing. It's a little long. It's a little long in the back. I have these blank hats that I got. I'm a big fan of Succession. If you guys watch Succession, they always have the blank ball caps on. And a friend of mine was like, "You got to get the Succession hat. These things are like $5 on Amazon." I'm also nursing. I think I've done something to my leg. I have like a shin splint, but it's really, really bad. I used to be a daily runner, and I used to get these, but this is kind of. My mic is not working right. Oh no, what's happening here? Really? My mic is not working right? Check, check. Sounds like it is. What's going on? Oh no. Always something. Always something. Can you guys hear me? Maybe I'll bring it closer. Does that work? You think the sound is running through your computer or a secondary mic? Oh, yeah. I got it now. We good? That probably sounds a lot better because I'm in the second thing. Muffled. So is it muffled now? Always something. Yes, Janet McCaw says yes as in yes, it's better. Sounds like a reverb or an echo, but it should be gone now. The reverb and echo should be gone. Hi, Collier. Hi, Sob None. Honey, I'm fat. Everyone is on Ozempic and backstreet versions here. It's scary. Yeah, we're waiting for no sound. No sound? No sound? Oh, boy. All right. We'll just wait a second till the chat catches up. It sounds like I'm in a corridor. Let's pull our. I mean, to me it sounds fine, but that's right now. Oops, I had the volume turned. Of course. Let me turn this up. It shouldn't sound like I'm in a corridor. I was just recording a podcast episode before this with a client of mine, Trisha Addicts, who does the Mad Rush podcast. Am I blocked here to? No, you're not blocked here. I don't know what's going on. No, Marisol. Marisol is living her best life right now. Oops, I had the volume turned down. Okay, so We can hear you, but it doesn't sound like your usual sound quality. Check, check. This is weird. Let's see here. You know what? I might have to come back in and re-enter. All right, let's see if that works better. Nope, still not that mic. Karen, YouTube has been weird. How much? High movers. Okay, well, everybody here. No, I abducted myself. It was a self-abduction sort of thing. Your mic not working right. Let's see. Here we go. Perfect. Okay, great. Fabulous. Oy vey. What a. I think it was because the sound was on the other. I'm using two computers, one to stream, one to talk to you guys. So it's a whole thing. One of these days, we'll get some behind the scenes photos, some better ones. Anyways, I have an ice pack on my leg, which is not. Get this big bump. I don't know what's going on. I got to figure it out. Anyways, okay, here we are. Oh, multitasking. Yeah, sorry guys. Just all right. Let me just readjust all this. There we go. Okay. You are welcome. So apparently because I logged in and the other computer and the microphone was on, and that was causing the echo, which then caused a sort of echo of people, reverberation, as we like to say. We are back. Okay, what was I talking about? Okay, so just a little housekeeping really fast before we get, now that we got the sound worked out for 7 minutes. This Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern time, noon Pacific, we have our members only, channel members only, and Patreon members only meet and greet. It is a live where we all get together, and it is through Google Meet. We all get to interact. We all get to talk. We all get to see each other face to face. It's very cool. I love doing it every month. We do it once a week, the last Sunday of the month. If you're a channel member, there is information in there for you guys to join. I actually did it. It should automatically be posting because I queued it up for a bunch of months ahead of schedule. I was very ambitious one day, but I'll make sure it's in the channel section. I'll be in and out. My poor dog is, oh, Peter. Oh, no, it's terrible. That's absolutely awful, Black Widow. Yeah, the meet and greets are a lot of fun, and we all get to interact with one another because you guys get to talk in the comments here, but you don't get to see each other. Now you get to see each other, so I like doing it. I like to see you guys. I like you guys to see me, and it's a lot of fun. So, anyways, that will happen this Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. It's in the members section. It's in the Patreon section. You'll get a link. It's on Google Meet. Super easy to join. Very basic. We're all YouTube people. Google Meet is easy to do. All right, so. I'm sort of working on the format of this show and working on the format of the channel. We're undergoing a lot of things. I have some great help from Sherry Falls, Karen Fan, and On the Outskirts have all kind of jumped in to sort of help. Gen X's Seventh Power as well. And then all of you guys writing in with suggestions. So we're going to start covering some other little tidbits before I get into what I'm going to talk about to let you know. Okay, so I live in Santa Monica, and if you were sitting here in this office and you were looking out this window, you see, I mean, right now it's a little hazy and overcast, but let me backtrack a little bit. When I first moved to California, Southern California specifically, there was an area that I gravitated to that was absolutely gorgeous. It was on a peninsula, and it is supposedly one of the most expensive pieces of real estate in the United States, if not the world. And that is called Rancho Palos Verdes. And it is beautiful. It's like its own secluded community. It's a pain in the butt to get to. Right? Even if you live there, it's off the freeway. You got to go, but it is at the tip of the continent. It protrudes out into the ocean. And it's absolutely stunningly gorgeous. And some of the properties are towards the end of this peninsula.
are owned by the Hewlett-Packard family, or the Packards, Hewlett-Packard products, and they own like a whole compound there. So there's been a lot of news, and I was discussing, I have some friends that were filming in there a couple of weeks ago. I have some friends that were driving through there the other day, and they're like, wow, the roads are really kind of wacky right now over there. And I said, well, yeah, do you not know what's going on? So the mayor of Palos Verdes recently wrote, because one of their higher profile residents at the time, not anymore apparently, but had lived there, was Elon Musk. And love him or hate him, whatever you feel about Elon Musk, I personally, anyone who created an electric car and wind power is aces in my books, and cares about the future, I'm good with. He's been sounding the alarm on AI for years. Yeah, I'm good with him. But despite that, he was a resident of Rancho Palos Verdes. And the mayor, yesterday, I always pull up like Apple News when I'm on the, getting my morning routine. If I'm walking Marisol or I'm just at the gym or whatever, I'm usually popping on the news, right? On my phone, Apple. And the mayor of Rancho Palos Verdes around August the 6th posted an open letter on Twitter, but also sent it directly to Tesla. Because residents of Rancho Palos Verdes, and specifically at this end where there was this beautiful, absolutely stunningly gorgeous, my friends got married in this chapel called the Wayfarer Chapel. It's made entirely of glass. It's gorgeous. They've since pulled that out of there because over the last 20 to 30 years, Rancho Palos Verdes has been slowly sliding into the ocean. Now, it's like a landslide in slow motion. So a couple of inches or like a foot every decade or something crazy like that. It's moving. The earth is always shifting under our feet. We live on a planet that moves all the time, constantly. However, due to the significant rainfall in Southern California in the last year, 2 years, we had those atmospheric rivers. The pace, which is just accelerated, of this active landslide of Rancho Palos Verdes. This is one of the most expensive places in the country, if not the world, and most certainly Los Angeles, is sliding into the ocean at a rate of a foot a week. So the mayor a while ago, a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to pull up the story here, pleaded to Elon Musk because what is happening is not only is there an issue with the current gas company that has gas pipelines there is going to turn off the gas and electric for all these residents that have these multi-million-dollar homes, and you can't sell your house. People's roofs are falling off. I'm going to read a little bit of this. This was just in the LA Times a couple of days ago. Rancho Palos Verdes mayor appeals to Elon Musk for help with possible power shutoff. I'm going to share this if I can. There we go. Great. There is Elon Musk. Rancho Palos Verdes mayor appeals to Elon Musk for help with possible power shutoff. Rancho Palos Verdes mayor John Cruikshank is appealing to tech billionaire Elon Musk for help in assisting homeowners dealing with gas shutoffs and possibly power shutoffs amid worsening landslides. Quote, while our community is resilient, this situation presents a unique opportunity to turn a setback into a showcase of sustainable living. Cruikshank wrote a letter to the Tesla founder on August 8th, not August 6th, and posted on X, which Musk also owns. Quote, given Tesla's advancements in solar technology and storage solutions, we see a potential partnership to equip these homes with solar panels and Powerwall batteries. It is not clear whether Musk has received the letter or plans to visit the region. Tesla has not responded to requests for comments. The coastal community has been dealing with a slow-moving landslide for decades, but historic rainfalls in 2023 and 2024 have accelerated its movement and created the current emergency. Up to a foot of land movement per week has been recorded in recent months, fracturing the walls of homes and blowing off roofs, shearing underground pipes and opening massive fissures in the earth. And I'm going to pull up another article that's going to show some of this stuff. There's a great, you can ride your bike, obviously anywhere in Southern California, but you can ride your bike around Rancho Palos Verdes.
It has like this bike paths and stuff. They won't let bikes go through anymore there. There's ginormous cracks in the earth, in the roads. It's like a demilitarized zone or like a war zone, a little bit. Up to a foot of, okay, so since October, Rancho Palos Verdes has been under a local state of emergency. On July 29th, Southern California Gas Company abruptly cut off natural gas service to 135 homes in the coastal city, citing risk to public safety. The next day, Southern California Edison notified more than 500 homes that power may soon be cut off as well. An electricity shutoff would raise a number of community safety issues, city officials say, because electricity is key for telecommunications lines, the sewer system pumps its groundwater, etc. That geologists say causes ground movement. The groundwater, which causes the ground movement. Now, another article I was reading today described the situation in Palos Verdes as a bowl inside of a bowl. So bowl, and so moving. So it's constantly moving. And, this is like if you're into science and plate tectonics and all that stuff and the crust of the earth and how all this moves, we are essentially one crust over another. So everything's always moving, right? The earth is always rotating and the core is rotating. And there's like 7 layers or whatever. It's been a long time since I took general science. But my point is, it's always moving. So this constant slippage is causing and this is a ultra wealthy community, absolutely pristine, beautiful. It's like Rancho Palos Verdes feels like it doesn't even exist in Los Angeles, even though Los Angeles is very beautiful. It feels like I've traveled to Sydney, Australia years ago. It feels like you're in Sydney. Everything is green and beautiful and pristine. Everyone's very friendly, and it's just its own coastal community. A lot of people don't even drive cars there; they drive golf carts around. It's that type of place. It's very, not to use a bougie, but it's really, really nice. I always envision one day, hopefully, being able to afford to live there. Because it's very cool, but it's also just very remote. But it's community and it's a thing unto itself. It's like a gem. It's like a hidden gem. I've never seen anything like it before. So some residents have already left, but many remain in their homes, scrambling to find ways to take a hot shower, cook dinner, and warm their bodies as they prepare for the rainy season without access to natural gas. Khrushchev invited Musk to tour the Landslide area at, quote, at your earliest convenience. A partnership with the struggling Rancho Palos Verdes community, he added, would demonstrate the viability of clean energy solutions in a real world scenario, solidifying Tesla's role as a leader in the green energy revolution. Khrushchev also sent a letter this month requesting state and federal assistance for further landslide repairs as well as individual residents. Landslides are usually not covered by the California Disaster Assistance Act or by typical homeowners insurance policies, which is a whole other thing that that I can get into a little bit. But for many people who are homeowners here in Southern California, because of the wildfires, because of landslides, muds, the storms, etc., it's getting very hard to afford a home here, which is why you see a lot of people leaving, a lot of people moving to Florida, a lot of Californians moving to Florida, a lot of Californians moving to Texas. I understand the appeal of Florida. I wouldn't want to live in Texas personally. It's nothing to do with Texas. I have friends that live in Austin. I was like, I went to Austin last year. It was really cool, but I need water. I need some sort of water and breeze, and I just can't be in the middle of nowhere. Now I know they have a lake. People have told me, and it might be nice, but I don't think I would. I don't think I'd dig it. Anyways, sound is off a bit. Yes, if you are just joining, and Oz, Sydney is amazing. The tectonic plates move. Yes. Okay. I'm looking at your comments here. Anyways, I found this story rather interesting for many reasons. I thought I'd share it. Somebody was like, you should share some weird news. I'm like, I don't know if I want to share if this is necessarily weird news, but this is a little terrifying because you think that you work hard enough to get a house of your dreams in an absolutely stunningly gorgeous place. I can see the peninsula like out my window. I mean, it's a little overcast, like not overcast, but hazy, but I can see the form of it. It's just protrudes out to the ocean. It's just a thing. And it's pretty significant. Okay. So to get into the conversation that I want to have today. So I, as many people who live in Hollywood, who work in Hollywood,
have seen the influx of friends and people taking GLP-1 agonists, which is the weight loss effect compound that it is in things such as Ozempic and Wegovy, Mounjaro, all those, all those things, which is designed as a diabetes drug, but people are losing, 20% of their body mass, of their weight, etc. It's been very good for that type of thing. I personally tried it last year. I did not take the brand names. I took an off. You can get GLP-1 agonists from doctors and, from weight loss clinics, etc. Me and my Hollywood friends, they bought a bunch of batches and somebody gave me it. I tried it for a month. I lost a lot of weight very quickly. It takes away your appetite, but it's not something that lasts. Like once you get off it, everything comes back to normal. I did not finish the whole dose. And you look, as I say on this program, I am not a doctor. Well, I say I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a psychologist. I am not I do not work in law enforcement. Let me add that I am not a doctor, so I'm not prescribing any medical advice or telling you anything other than what I've read in my own personal experience. I'm just a guy who's been through a lot of shit, as I always say. But I found it to be very interesting. Lost like 10 pounds like that. And I was like, wow, okay, it's great. It just took away my appetite. It's slower to digest. I personally didn't have any issues that red flag thyroid issues and things because it can accelerate those types of conditions if you have it. There are many things that people take. Look, I work out at one of the largest gyms in Los Angeles, one of the most famous ones in the world. There's a lot of people taking a lot of stuff and putting it in their body. Things like HGH, which are, amazing, and human growth hormone does deplete as you get older. And I would be remiss if I didn't say, as a man now in his gulp 40s, I haven't thought about it because I'll see guys at the gym are like just jacked and just really hard muscle. And I'm like, oh, but I'm like, well, you're taking something that also can. Human growth hormone, from my experience and why I've had friends not take it, is because it can accelerate the growth of other things that might be growing in your body, which is not necessarily a great thing. So I took the GLP-1, tried it out for a couple of weeks. My parents were watching. I was like, I told them I didn't take it. I took it. I tried it. It was, but it was staggering. And I've seen some friends really have success, but my issue with it was I had noticed about a month after stopping it, I was moving some furniture in my place. I was particularly lifting up a couch, and I tore the fibers in my left bicep at the time. And I thought, whoa. Not the bicep muscle, but the tendons or ligaments ripped. I've done this before. I've done it in my calf. I've done it, whatever. It was a motorcycle situation. And then about a couple months later, the same thing happened to my right arm. And I thought this might have an effect from some of this. It wasn't while lifting weights or anything like that, but it definitely like, could be just getting old and fatigue or whatever. I could have been fatigued, etc. But I thought it might have an interesting effect. So I've seen a lot of friends take this, taking Mounjaro, taking Wegovy, taking Ozempic, and some of my friends are pre-diabetic or have diabetes or type 2 diabetes, and we're using it for legitimate weight loss. No, not just legitimate weight loss, but to treat their diabetes, which the sort of the opposite effect of all this was like, oh, it also helps with weight loss, so it just makes everybody lose weight because it curbs your appetite. So it became this like miracle drug for weight loss. But problem is like you got to stay on it, unless you make significant changes to your diet. I think I lost like 12 pounds. I think I gained back like 4 or something. But I found controlling your diet much better. Not that I ate terribly anyways. I just kind of ate too much food. So when I went on calorie restriction, that was really what helped me. Back to my story. So my friends who are taking it, so some of them are big drinkers, heavy drinkers. And as someone who quit drinking almost 4 years ago, I was like, well, if you look at how this is supposed to be, how you're supposed to be able to use this, how you are, what you should be doing, I was like, you shouldn't be drinking alcohol because this affects your pancreas, this affects your kidneys, and this affects your liver, like your whole
system that processes all of this, your metabolism, your metabolic system, and throwing alcohol in the mix of it is like not good. And I told friends about this. Nobody wanted to listen to me because they said, well, the doctor didn't tell me that, so I can do whatever I want. Okay, well, I think the doctor probably, I think it says even on the packaging, do not use this with alcohol. I'm pretty sure it does. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I never had my hands on the Ozempic, the brand names, that come from the pharmaceutical manufacturers. I got GLP-1, like I said, from friends that got it from a clinic. But this was this I believe is on the packaging. So I felt very skeptical about it. So I'm surfing as I do every time. As I was explaining, I'm going through the Apple News and I see these two articles and I want to kind of delve into this because, there are many people that sounded the alarm last year when people were doing this, talking about the tears in the muscle fiber. Because I started diving down a rabbit hole. I'm like, could there's muscle tears? And I watched a few podcasts. I heard some people talking about it. And this is just, a lot of it was anecdotal sort of research, less scientific, more anecdotal, because in a lot of ways, I think in something that is so new, you're kind of going to have to rely on more anecdotal research, versus actual medical results, because it's so new on the market. I know they've been testing this for a long time and it's been around, but still people using it for the benefits of weight loss is not, it was like a happy accident type of situation. But there's an article in Wired and there was an article in NPR, both a week ago. And there's a couple of studies I looked at. And shout out to Sherry Falls for putting together some of this info for us. So this article in Wired, which I guess I'm still a subscriber. I used to love Wired. I used to get Wired. It was like one of my favorite magazines growing up. But it's by Emily Mullen. It says the benefits of Ozempic are multiplying. There's mounting evidence that GLP-1 drugs have health benefits beyond diabetes and weight loss for conditions ranging from addiction to Parkinson's. And scientists are evolving theories of why. Now, that to me is probably the most dramatic thing. I have a friend whose father is suffering from Parkinson's. I've done a lot of research or whatever, read a lot about that and the benefits of medical cannabis. I've heard about that for years, for anti-seizures, for people suffering from Parkinson's, use of CBD, which is non-psychoactive cannabis products, things like that seem to have a positive effect on that. So I thought, maybe this is a very similar thing. So I'll continue. You've heard the dramatic weight loss stories. Semaglutide, the active ingredient in Ozempic and Wegovy, can help people lose 15% of their body weight. Tirzepatide, sold under the brand names Mounjaro and Zepbound, may be even more effective at shedding pounds. Known as GLP-1 agonists, these drugs were originally developed to help control diabetes, but there's increasing evidence that they have other health benefits beyond controlling weight loss. They seem to boost heart health, protect kidneys, improve sleep apnea, and lower the certain risk of obesity-related cancers. Recent studies have also hinted at their potential to treat addiction and even slow the cognitive decline that comes with dementia. As researchers test these drugs for various conditions, they're trying to untangle the mysteries behind how exactly they're working in the body, and they have a few theories. Quote, many of us in the medical community are really beginning to think about these drugs as health promotion drugs, not just weight loss drugs or even anti-obesity drugs, says Harlan Krumholtz, a cardiologist and professor at Yale University School of Medicine. So I always kind of, when they reach out, like they have credible sources, it's not like, the Farmington School for occupational medicine or something. Like it was like Yale. Okay, great. Yale School of Medicine. I can get behind that. UCLA, David Geffen School of Medicine. Okay, I can get it behind that. Okay, you work at USC. Okay, I can get behind that type of research. Some of these other things that you see in articles. So I think it's very interesting. In March, Novo Nordisk's Wegovy became the first weight loss medication to also gain approval to help
prevent serious heart problems in people with cardiovascular disease. In an international trial, more than 17,000 people, which is also good to see, a 17,000 person study. A lot of these things you read, have like blind studies of 100 people or 50 people. And you're like, okay, what is that? And part of it is funding, of course, things like that. But in an international trial of more than 17,600 people with excess weight, weekly injections of Wegovy significantly reduced the risk of a major cardiac event. Researchers followed participants for an average of 3 years and found that those who took Wegovy were 20% less likely to die of a heart attack, stroke, or other cardiovascular cause. Eli Lilly, which makes tirzepatide, is also looking to expand Zepbound's uses. The company announced this month that its weight loss drug improved symptoms in heart failure patients with obesity and led to a 38% reduction in hospitalizations. 1 in every 4 deaths each year in the United States is due to heart disease, and obesity is increasingly a factor. Now, side note, I've talked about this on this program in various times, between talking about true crime trials and true crime cases or my own story, about, sort of people's blindness to basic facts of you can't eat everything. And yes, if you are very obese, that's not a good thing. You should try to get that under control. I realize some people have conditions and it is very difficult to deal with that. But, there's a lot of this is caused by I even look at, it doesn't even have to do with obesity. I even look at bodybuilders that work out at my gym who are clearly 80 pounds heavier than their body frame allows them to be, because it's, they put on so much muscle mass, and they're 6 foot, I'm 6'1", so 6'1" and, 270 pounds or 250 pounds of muscle. That's a big person. That's a big guy. That's a lot of weight and mass on your heart, on your lungs, on your bones. A lot of those guys can't run. They couldn't sprint. If, they looked at me sideways and said, "Oh, I crush you," I'd be like, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna take off and good luck catching me." They can't, it's kind of a whole, sort of mind trip a little bit, because you're looking at okay, they're in great shape, but also are they really? There's a lot of weight they're carrying around that is very significant. 1 in every 4 deaths in the United States due to heart disease and obesity is increasingly a factor. Excess weight can cause high blood pressure and cholesterol, which increases the risk of heart attack and stroke. Weight gain can also affect how the heart muscle functions, increasing the risk of failure. It's perhaps no wonder then that a drug that also helps people lose weight would improve their heart health. But there are reasons to think there are other factors at play beyond weight loss. When we first saw results, we wondered if this is simply about weight loss, Krumholtz says. But what we're seeing is that having more weight loss doesn't necessarily translate into more benefit. In the trial of people with heart disease with Wegovy, I keep wanting to call it Wegovy. Wegovy. Oh, by the way, my noisy neighbors are back. I can hear them outside. Welcome back. So excited. Can't wait to hear the door slam 4 times in 30 seconds. Heart rate and heart inflammation before participants reach their maximum weight loss. What's more, the drug seemed to reduce major cardiac events regardless of how much weight they lost. The same was true for heart failure patients. This all suggests that Krumholtz that the drug is, at least in part, working on the cardiovascular system in some other way. Quote, "This is the big question," he says. "What is the exact mechanism of benefit? Semaglutide and tirzepatide work by mimicking the action of GLP-1, a hormone found naturally in the body. These drugs act on GLP-1 receptors in the pancreas to trigger the release of insulin before eating, which helps control blood sugar levels in people with diabetes. They also bind to GLP-1 receptors in the brain to make people feel full, leading them to eat less. Scientists are still trying to understand." Sorry, the wind is whipping around and I have my umbrella up. Hopefully that's okay. It turns out that these receptors are present in many parts of the body.
Okay, so sorry. Also, one explanation is that GLP-1 receptors also exist on cells in the heart, blood vessels, liver, and kidneys. So these drugs may act directly on these organs. Quote, it turns out that these receptors are present in many parts of the body, says Catherine Tuttle, a clinical professor of nephrology at the University of Wisconsin School of Medicine. Or no, sorry, University of Washington School of Medicine. And I was about ready to say go Badgers because I thought I said Wisconsin. A recent trial led by Tuttle was stopped early due to overwhelming evidence that semaglutide has protective effects on the kidney. The study included more than 3,500 people with both type 2 diabetes and kidney disease. About half the participants took a weekly injection of semaglutide, while the other half got a placebo shot. After an average of 3.5 years, the semaglutide group had 24% lower likelihood of having major kidney disease event, such as needing dialysis or a kidney transplant. That's incredible. Clinical trials aren't usually designed to determine the mechanism of a drug, and in fact, the mechanisms of many drugs on the market aren't entirely known. But Tuttle has her own theory for how semaglutide is protecting the kidney, quote, by shutting down inflammation. GLP-1 drugs may even calm inflammation in the brain, raising hope that they can be used to treat conditions like dementia and Parkinson's disease. Inflammation is thought to play a role in the development of both conditions. In a UK trial of 200 people with mild Alzheimer's disease, an older GLP-1 drug called liraglutide appeared to slow shrinking of parts of the brain that control memory, learning, language, and decision-making by as much as 50%. Those who received weekly injections or liraglutide of liraglutide over 52 weeks also had an 18% slower decline in cognitive function after a year compared to those who got the placebo. Obesity is a known risk factor for developing Alzheimer's disease, but the study didn't specifically include people with obesity, which suggests that the drug is helping through other means. Side note, did you guys see this new film directed and starring Michael Keaton called Knox Goes Away? It is about a guy who's a hitman who helps his son, but he tries to tie up loose ends before he's diagnosed with dementia, and he has like 3 or 4 weeks to get his affairs in order and does so. It's an interesting movie. You should see it. It's a little like, it's kind of scary, but it's also kind of, wow. It's a little bit of a true crimey sort of vibe to it too. It's good. You should check it out. It's on Apple TV. No, it's on HBO Max, or Max as they call it now. The authors who presented the findings last month at the Alzheimer's Association annual conference think liraglutide could be working in a few different ways, including reducing inflammation in the brain and lowering insulin resistance. Heather Snyder, Vice President of Medical and Scientific Relations at the Alzheimer's Association, says the results are exciting, although larger trials will be needed to confirm this protective effect. Quote, this is really the first study we've seen a hint of this benefit for individuals. And the neuroprotective effects may extend to Parkinson's disease as well. I'm not going to get into all that. What I want to get into is a little bit of talk about the effects on substance abuse. So in 2019, researchers at Penn State to see if this class of drugs could help reduce cravings in people with opioid use disorder. In experiments with rats, they showed that GLP-1 drugs could reduce fentanyl seeking behavior and relapse to heroin. The group launched a pilot study of 20 participants who were living at a residence. Again, there's that 20 participants thing at a residential treatment facility. Half were given the GLP-1 drug liraglutide, and the other half received a placebo. Measuring cravings can be tricky, so researchers use a smartphone app that ping people 4 times a day to ask about their cravings as well as their stress and mood levels. When the 3-week study ended, researchers found that those who received the GLP-1 drug reported a 40% reduction in opioid craving compared to those who got the placebo. The study didn't follow participants after they left the residential facility, so it's not known whether the drug actually curbed their opioid use. That, of course, is the important outcome, since many people who initially recover from addiction experience relapse. As they say, relapse is part of recovery. Patricia Grigson, a professor of neural and behavioral sciences at Penn State College of Medicine, who led the study, says that GLP-1 drugs seem to block the signal in the brain that gets released after eating or taking an addictive substance. Quote, it would appear that they are just knocking down that reward signal, she says. Grigson presented the findings at the American Association for the Advancement of Science conference earlier this year. Her group will test semaglutide in the next in 200 people getting treatment for opioid addiction, and they plan to start recruiting participants for that study this fall. With so many people turning to GLP-1 drugs to lose weight, their or other health benefits may soon become clearer, and so could the answers about how exactly they are working. Grigson says newer drugs like tirzepatide, as well as ones still in development, may work even better than previous GLP-1 medications. If they look safe, they need to be tested, and the sooner, the better. Anyways, that is something that I found interesting in Wired magazine this last week. I'm going to go. We have a little bit of an article that actually comes from a respected, obviously, medical association. I'm going to pull that up to talk about these addictive properties. What do you say? I'm going to just kind of go through your comments here really fast. Hello, Shirley Roth. Wouldn't people get addicted to this miracle pill then? I don't know, because it doesn't seem to have any addictive properties. I will say that when I took it, sugar to me is something that you start taking and then you eat. You eat and you keep eating it and you keep wanting to eat it and sugar. So I would say I can see that this would have benefits on addiction in general, which I think is really, really cool. And hopefully this will save a lot of people if they start to use it. The problem is the drug is not available, even available to those who need it and who need to use their medical insurance to get access to it. And things like Wegovy and Mounjaro and Ozempic are, there's a lot of people reporting very significant reductions in being able to obtain this quote miracle drug. So a lot of it is is also a problem with availability. And as Black Widow pointed out earlier, Black Widow, yes, tattoos, yes, lots. As Black Widow pointed out earlier, now people are taking to the black market to obtain these drugs, which, of course, I am sure in about a matter of, if it's not already there, hours maybe, I'm sure somebody will stick fentanyl in it, and it will be a whole other thing and a whole other problem. But there's and there was another article that I had read talking about fake Ozempic. I wonder if that was also on Apple. I'll have to look. Too bad I can't search these things. But it was talking about somebody who tried to get who bought a ton of it for their clinic and found out that it was all fake from China. Let's see here. I'm trying to see. I think I can hear this stupid. Everybody's running their air conditioner. Oh yeah, let's try to get this. So much for the airflow. So much for the wonderful, beautiful airflow that was killing. I can't stand that. I know I'm going to be like, are you kidding me? Why didn't I close the door when the sound is off later? I'm trying to find this other article. No. Let's see here. Well, let me fly through your comments here too. I wish I could search my news history. But yeah, there was a big scandal. They bought, thousands of boxes and, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And now it's like, it's all fake. Can't do anything with it. You can't tell a doctor here about a treatment like American TV. Ask your doctor about XYZ. Those ads make us wide-eyed. Oh, yes, the ads, the pharmaceutical drug ads are in this country are absolutely insane. Ozempic is playing havoc in underlying mental health. Heightened ideations and depression. That's interesting. Did not know that. I wonder why that is. Let's see. That would be a not good thing. See, it's tit for tat, as many people say. Wow. A new observational study suggests that Ozempic may increase the risk of psychiatric symptoms like anxiety, depression, ideation, unaliving ideation, and personality changes. However, other research suggests that Ozempic might not increase those, and may even reduce the risk of depression and anxiety. I would assume that if you have weight-related issues and you are depressed about those, if losing weight while taking these medications would help your self-esteem and your well-being and your mental health, I would imagine. But also, again, our body is, again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm not any of that, but, there is, our body is all about equilibrium and give and take, right? If something ails, you use this to bring this back, it's all like, if it gets out of balance, right? And, just focusing on your own personal health, if this goes with this way, it keeps going. You don't want it to, you need to, constantly, your body always wants, a state of homeostasis, right? So these are perfect vessels that were given by higher power, whatever you want to say. These are perfect vessels that keep themselves regulated and regulated. And so when you start messing with all that, it gets a little thing, which is my skepticism on all these things in the first place. Some users have reported a cluster of mental health issues, including Ozempic personality, which includes increased anxiety, depression, anhedonia, and decreased libido. Okay, great. I'll never take that again. However, this term is not scientific and has only been reported on social media and in the media. In rare cases, Ozempic may cause mood swings, irritability, shakiness, and confusion. Taking other medications with Ozempic may also increase anxiety or mood changes as well. I mean, I would also think because you're not eating, that would cause mood changes. I want to get to this. GoodRx has an article on it, which says there's no evidence that Ozempic will worsen your symptoms of depression or causing negative mental health effects. Healthline talked about it a couple months ago. Ozempic person. Oh, they're just slamming the door. The neighbors are slamming the door. I can hear it. I did not miss that at all. Tonight they'll be playing soccer in the house. It'll be just back to normal. I'm so aggravating. So aggravating. Ha! Oy vey. Oy vey, as we say here on the Call Your Landry channel, on the Call Your Landry show. Yeah. So I'm going to pull up this other little thing here. This is from the National Library of Medicine. I think this. Yeah, there's the slamming. So it says because GLP, so this is from, I'll pull this up so you guys can see what I'm looking at here. Let's remove this. Let's stop screen. Let's present. Okay, let's share screen and let's go to window. Chrome tab. I think that's it. Hey, there we go. Look at this. So nice when it all works. Let me see here. Move more, eat less. Yeah, absolutely. Macaulay looks and sound well. He not? I am well. I just have this little knot on my shin, like a really bad shin splint. It doesn't have any bad effects. Yeah, but they didn't say that with smoking cigarettes. Didn't they say smoking cigarettes was good for you? I don't think they ever said that, but I don't know. I wasn't around when the cigarette was being heavily marketed. That was a little bit before my time. I think pretty much at that time. I do remember people smoking cigarettes on airplanes when I was a kid, which I still find just very bizarre that even was a thing. How is that even a thing? For those of you that remember people smoking cigarettes on airplanes, who thought that was a great idea to trap? There's 4 people that smoke cigarettes on an airplane, and there's 200 and some people there that everyone should be subjected to the cigarettes. It's unbelievable to me. So this comes from, wow, this is a serious study. The National Library of Medicine, National Center for Biotechnology Information. The role of glucagon-like peptide 1, GLP-1, in addictive disorders. The abstract. Drug, alcohol, and tobacco use disorders are a global burden affecting millions of people. Despite decades of research, treatment options are sparse or missing, and relapse rates are high. Glucagon-like peptide 1, GLP-1, is released in the small intestine, promotes blood glucose homeostasis, slows gastric emptying, and reduces appetite. GLP-1 receptor agonists approved for treating type 2 diabetes, mellitus, and obesity have received attention as potential anti-addiction treatment. Studies in rodents and non-human primates have demonstrated a reduction in intake of alcohol and drugs of abuse. And clinical trials have been initiated to investigate whether the preclinical findings can be translated to patients. This review will give an overview of current findings and discuss the possible mechanisms of action. We suggest that the effects of GLP-1 in alcohol and substance use disorders is mediated centrally, at least partly through dopamine signaling, and precise mechanisms are still being uncovered. What's interesting, my vision is 20/20 from getting the LASIK a few months ago, but for whatever reason, I'm just mispronouncing words. I can read them clear as day, which is incredible. If you tuned into this show when I had to wear reading glasses, it was horrible. Worldwide, they say an estimated 35 million people suffer from substance use disorders. That is according to the United Nations publication in 2020. I don't believe that number. I think they're missing a 0. That seems very low to me. With 280 million people and 280 substance use disorder, and then now they're going to bring in alcohol. Okay, I thought they were adding that. And 280 million people from alcohol use disorder. World Health Organization from 2018, which I guarantee that number has got to be up from 2018, given we came through, the global pandemic, et cetera, and people sort of their usage rose quite a bit. In 2015, a quarter of the global adult population above 15 years of age were current users of tobacco. Also believe that, according to the World Health Organization in 2019. Alcohol use disorders is associated with high mortality due to medical complications, injuries. I don't know what that is. That's referencing a thing, and unaliving. Alcohol use disorder has serious consequences not only for the individual suffering from this disease, but also for sure, the relatives. Al-Anon, anyone? And society at large, to high healthcare and socioeconomical costs, for sure. Harmful use of alcohol is globally estimated to account for over 5% of deaths, making it a leading cause of preventable deaths. And the treatment gap is wide when compared with other psychiatric disorders. Globally, an estimated 19 million people are users of a white powdered substance that Pablo Escobar made famous. And about 5 million people suffer from that substance use disorder. So you can't really say the naughty words on YouTube, but we're talking about cocaine. Deaths caused by cocaine overdose are rapidly increasing in recent years, now rivaling or exceeding opioid overdose deaths in some American populations. That's interesting. Rapidly increasing. Well, and I would imagine, and again, I'm not a doctor, but I read a lot
that part of this, these cocaine deaths have to be because of fentanyl. So I don't know if you could say, well, it's passing opioid deaths, because it's probably from opioids being, fentanyl being put into cocaine. It happens all the time. I live here in Hollywood. This happened a couple weeks ago. Somebody just, same thing. They're putting it in everything. It's very, very scary. Very, 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 very scary. When it comes to stimulants, an estimated 27 million people use amphetamines in 2018, and amphetamines are associated with severe physical health consequences, psychiatric illness, aggressive behaviors, risky sexual behavior, and the risk of contracting blood-borne viruses after needle sharing. 2018, an estimated 58 million people use opioids. This number includes those who misuse pharmaceutical synthetic opioids. Again, I think that number is kind of low. In 2016, more than 100,000 people died from an opioid overdose, most likely from respiratory depression. Societal costs are high due to harm to family cohesion, reduced employment, and the cost of crimes. 100%. I come from for those of you that are here from Ohio or in Mansfield, you guys know that this has ravaged our small town community and central Ohio and the Midwest just in general. It has just gone absolutely rampant. I want to get into the alcohol portion of this study. Ingestive regulatory effects. Because the GLP-1 systems regulate food and fluid intake, and GLP-1 receptor agonists can decrease food consumption at doses comparable to those with comparable with those that decrease alcohol intake. Non-specific effects may contribute to the observed decrease in alcohol drinking. These effects may relate to nausea or general malaise, to the regulation of nutrient intake and consummatory behaviors, or both. However, the fact that exenatide also reduced intravenous self-administration of alcohol, and GLP-1 receptor agonists reduced rewarding effects of alcohol injections as measured by place conditioning. There was a great documentary years ago, total aside, called One Little Pill, I believe is what it was called, and the woman did a TED Talk on it. I wanted to try to get her on the program. She was an actress, alcoholic, and took this pill. And it's one of those, there's these pills that will just help you reduce, your alcohol. There's a couple of them, ones that reduce cravings, much like this is talking about. And then you have other ones that are just like, that make you sick if you drink it. If you drink while on it, it'll just have your body will have an adverse reaction and get violently ill. Yeah. Thank God I quit long before that was ever even a part of my journey. But yeah, so this is interesting. And I think I would love to know, and I'm going to go to the chat here, if any of y'all who've maybe even tried this and notice a reduction in that. I would imagine, like, when I tried this, my sugar intake reduced, and I don't eat a lot of sugar anyways, but at the time, it was post-Christmas. I was still probably it was around my birthday, actually. And, sugar cravings when you're in this, so post-holidays and then pre-birthday and you're eating sugar, I didn't have as many sugar cravings. And it wasn't even because I was like, don't eat sugar. I talk about this a lot when I was talking about, like, sometimes when I talk about sobriety here, or I talk about with my friends, it's like alcohol in the brain. If you can cut out, and sugar is the same way. If you can stop for like 10 days, once you get past that 10-day period, your body doesn't crave it anymore. There is scientific evidence of this. It's out of your system. So if you invite it back to your system, it's all like a mental craving, less of a physical craving, because that's what makes one of the things on alcohol so dangerous, is that it has a physical addiction. Like, you withdraw from it. It's very, very bad. Thank God I haven't experienced that, but I've seen people have, and it's scary. And a hangover is a form of withdrawal too. It makes you feel absolutely horrible. So, yeah, it's a lot. I think I talked a little bit about a couple of weeks ago. I had a friend who's about a month ago, I mentioned, that had relapsed, but I'm proud to say that he emerged from his treatment program and he is doing very well. So, Big shout out to him. Who shall remain nameless. Yes, and it does make sense, Miss K, because sugar is an alcohol. Yeah, I think you I think a lot of people do yes, correct. Medically you clean. I was cheap. I go get smokes for a soda or candy bar. Hangovers is why I do not drink anymore. Yeah, hangovers are absolutely awful. I do not miss those whatsoever. Yes. Good luck to my pal. Yes, he's doing well. I check on them a lot to make sure things, because he had a lot of years under his belt. But it's like a lot of the guilt and shame factors. And they were talking about this earlier in the other article. Some of the shame around weight loss and things like that. Like a lot of that plays into people's addiction cycles, and it's a big problem for sure. All right, getting into your comments. All right, guys. So that's all I sort of have for that. But I want to get into your questions, your comments, and sort of look. I guess to sort of be encouraging of people's mental health or what's going on. Like, look, if you guys are suffering from, or somebody is listening to this and you're suffering from any of these issues, whether it's overeating or addiction issues or whatever, get help. Reach out to your support base, reach out to your support community. There is help. There is hope. There are all the things. Reach out to your people. Nobody should have to go it alone. It's a big deal. Taking a big step if you're trying to get sober, whether you're trying to get healthy, whether you're trying to get, lose weight, use your people around you. Social media, I talk a lot about, I extol a lot on, or lament a lot on the perceived virtues of social media and issues there. But let me take a moment to extol on the virtues of social media, which is you can find an online community for things that you are going through at the touch of a button on your mobile device, on your computer, etc. Even for people who have bad hat hair, there's a community for that, I'm sure. You can reach out and find a community, find your tribe. Much like we have Mover Nation here, you guys can find your tribe of people that will help and support you. It is available no matter what you're going through. So that would be my mental health sort of tip. Try to get a little bit of tips every episode too. That's my thing. Stick with it. Find your tribe. Get healthy, whatever it looks like, and know that you're not alone. Let me get some of y'all's questions. Q&As. I'll post them up here on the live. YouTube also told me that they're going to send a second notice out for people to come and look. I call this, what did I call this? Semaglutide, Ozempic, and anyways. I'm bad hair hat day today for sure. Yes, bad hair community. If one doesn't work, don't give up and find another one. Absolutely. It's always, as they say, one day at a time. I'm a bartender. Grain alcohol will give you a hangover. Non-grain alcohol many times won't, like Tito's, corn, Bacardi, molasses. Those are non-grain alcohol many times won't, like Tito's. I will tell you something, Mystery Singer. Many times, I had many fulfilling nights, or not fulfilling nights rather, with Uncle Tito. And Uncle Tito is undefeated. Uncle Tito always won, always got the best of me. Never once did I get the best of Uncle Tito. So as a person who drinks vodka, no, you can get hungover for anything. Absolutely. Somebody did give me a bottle of bourbon, which I took to my storage unit because apparently it's very good bourbon. I was on their podcast and they gifted it to me. And then I called a friend and I said, I've never heard of this. Is this any good? They're like, oh yeah, that's really good. I'm like, what kind of bottle was it? Was it a straight bottle or was it the heart-shaped bottle? I was like, it was a heart-shaped bottle. They're like, oh, that's the really good one. So I put it in my storage unit. Somebody will get somebody who I know who drinks, which there's not many people I do, but somebody will get that. We'll get that for a holiday present or I actually think I know exactly who I should send it to. Yes, I have figured it out. Wow, that didn't take long. That's fabulous. Tequila, yeah, I've had many tequila issues. As a kid, the uncles would ask me to get them a beer, and my grandma would get mad if I did. I'm sure.
Jack and Jim win every time. Yes, they do. It's so funny because you watch. And look, I'm not here to harp on alcohol or people consuming alcohol, but you see the commercials and everybody's having a great time. As I watch more advertising and as I get what's happening here? I can't get rid of this. Like, really? Computer is frozen. Is that what's happening? Okay, well, there we go. I had to go to the other computer. What's going on with this? My computer has not been functional. Anyways, questions, guys. Questions, comments, suggestions. I made the drinks from 7 or so. Too much of anything will make you sick. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I woke up and drank a bottle of gin, then went to the pub in my day. Ooh, gin. Gin is not yeah, I don't let kids handle drinks, trying to break the cycle. That's a good thing. That's wild. Oh, wow. Well, look at this. My computer is acting very, very wacky. I just got kicked off on the other computer. Good thing I have the live running on the second computer. I'm having a non-mock margarita after my day and feeling like I maybe should pour it out. Oh, don't do that. I'm not here to discourage anyone, Sherry Falls, but I am very discouraged by my current situation here with the computer. Let me tell you that much. I think I'm gonna have to go to the other computer. Let's see. All right, let me do this. Big hugs, Collier. Go for a beach walk. I'm having trouble doing the beach walk because I have this bubble over like shin splint issue. Oh, here we go. We're back. And we're back. Let me see if this actually works. Yeah, well, that's good. You didn't like to drink. You figured out early. Amen to that. Amen to that. A good decision. Good decision. Marisol's not here. Marisol is living her best life right now, but Marisol will be returning very soon. And she's on a little bit of a sabbatical, a daddy sabbatical. I was actually traveling, so I had to go back, and then she's going to be on her sabbatical again. It's like, I'm going to go to Dallas in 2 weeks from yesterday, I guess. So I'll have to figure out how the lives are going to work when I'm away. We'll have to figure that out. I'm going to be really hard at work making content. I've really dialed in some stuff. We've got a great little team going now again. And I thank all of you, especially the moderators here on the channel and those of you that hear support, et cetera, et cetera. Congratulations on your sobriety. Well, thank you so much, Cynthia. And I mean, it's been a while. I pulled up, I have this app that I used at the time, which was called I Am Sober. And you could put in like whatever time you think you lose from alcohol or you devote to alcohol. So since I wasn't a daily drinker, I was like a monthly, like a binge drinker. So I wouldn't drink every day, but I would, go off on a weekend and get crazy with friends and whatever. But I would think about like, okay, I'd have to break it down to like hours per day because you can break it down hours per month. But the staggering thing is when you look at the app and you're on the phone and you're like, wow, I saved how many hours, which then turns into days, which then turns into weeks, which then years later turns into months. And you're like, what is happening? That's enough to keep you on the path alone. Like, oh yeah. I suggested the app to my friend who was having, whose husband was having struggles. I was like, he's an analytical guy. He'll get it. Get him on this app, have him honestly put in all this intel, and he'll figure it. I'm telling you, you look at it because that's what gets you're like, wait a minute, hold on, I have all this time back, because time is our most precious resource, right? I mean, besides our health, but time. And that's that's something when you break it down in that, oh yeah, I can look at that analytical data. I can go, oh yeah, it's like looking at a bank account. Like, oh yeah, I don't need to spend money because I don't have any money, or I don't need to go in debt for this. It's the same sort of thing. I found that very helpful. I haven't drank in over 10 years. It was never a thing. And if I did, it was only, well, that's great for you. That's amazing. I suffered, yeah, I had the OCD for sure. Kind of shuts your brain off, right? I need new everyone if I didn't drink. It's woven here. Yeah, for sure. You have, yeah, you live in Ireland. So it's very much ingrained in this culture. Anyways, I was drinking this stuff earlier. This is Partake Brewing, and I was telling a friend of mine it would be great if it's a non-alcoholic brew. This is their Partake Blonde, which kind of tastes a little bit like an IPA, but it's got 15 calories, less than 0.05. It's like, there's no alcohol in this thing. But I drank things like hop water, which have like the hoppy flavor, and I wish that years ago this was out. This wasn't, it was only like O'Doul's and all this other crap, and now they have ones that are very low in sugar and calories, and it's amazing, and they taste amazing. This brand Partake, which is manufactured in Canada, I believe. Water, barley, hops, yeast, product of Canada, imported by Partake Brewing of Chicago, Illinois. This stuff's great. They do a 12-pack, and they'll give you 4 different types, and in the 12-pack, and you get to try all the flavors, because they don't always have the individual flavors, but you get a little variety of like a heavy IPA, a lighter IPA, a pale ale, a blonde. It's rad. It's been a long time since I tasted regular beer, anyways, but it tastes like how I remember it, with like next to no calories, no sugar, no nothing. It's great. I'd rather juice hops makes you sleepy. My last night out was oh boy, oof. We all individually challenged and blessed. Yes, we are. Absolutely. We are all. I have OR hair today from Cat Loves Catskills says, Collier never has bad hair days. Oh, trust me, I do. It's like in that weird limbo phase. In fact, somebody said, are you going to start putting it back in a ponytail? And I said, oh no, I'm not doing that. That was like the pandemic look. I'm not doing that again. I did the long hair. Then there, got the t-shirt. I'm good. I don't need the long hair. I appreciate you you saying I never have bad hair days though. Gen X to the 7th power. All right. Mover Nation, we get through another one. Okay, look. So this Sunday, I probably should type this out. I probably should put this up. This Sunday, if you're a YouTube channel member, if you are a Patreon supporter at any level, we do our live members only meet and greets. It's on Google Meet. There's a link. It should be in the members section. I think it's supposed to post today. I think it posted last week. We do the last Sunday of every month at 3 p.m. Eastern time, noon Pacific. I do it at that time to hopefully incorporate all of everyone around the world that can join us. It's a lot of fun. It's great. And it's very, a lot of times you guys want to hear about me, but it ends up being a lot of me learning so much about you guys, which is cooler. I try to run it like that so I can hear you what's going on in y'all's life, because y'all listen to me talk all the time. I don't need to talk all the time. I'm not that interesting, but I think I enjoy doing them. So it's always great to have those. And then if you're also a member, we do the Collier's AV Club, the middle second Sunday of every month at 5 p.m. At 8 p.m. Eastern time, which we watch either a documentary, a movie, one episode of a series of television or a docuseries. Last month we watched The Social Dilemma, because I was talking a lot about social media. So we're watching The Social Dilemma, and that whole thing talking about all the dilemma surrounding social media. It was a very heavy but cool. It was shot like a movie and like a documentary. It's really rad. So I don't know what we'll be watching in September, but we'll think of something. I'll think of something, and it'll be great. You are like a Guinness. The Guinness, the non-alcoholic Guinness was pretty good too. But this Partake is better because the Guinness has like 70, 80 calories or something like that, because it's still heavy. I'm not a big fan of that. Anyways, Mover Nation, we get through another one. Thank you all. There's a new outro going to be coming. It's not ready today. It's going to be coming. I thank you all for being here. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Here's the outro. Mover Nation, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to all my channel members and Patreon supporters. And for more exclusive content, behind the scenes videos, monthly VIP meet and greets and watch parties, please consider supporting me on Patreon or by becoming a YouTube channel member. If you like this video, check out this one right here or this one right here. And don't forget to like and subscribe because it helps with the algorithm. On that note, I'm Collier Landry. I'll see you on the next one. Good girl, Marisol. Good girl.